Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, today is just one of them days, man. We got some fire topics for you guys that I think you guys are going to enjoy. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, yesterday, I tuned into a segment of Gil's Arena, and they had a special guest that was there, Dwight Howard, right? And they were discussing who's the best. They were discussing the best defenders in the NBA. They were talking about Rudy Gobert, but at a certain point, they started to discuss, some quotes, some tweets that Nick Young had posted, where he essentially said people are afraid to say Kyrie's better than Curry, the same way they're afraid to say Kobe's better than MJ. So this huge argument ensued on the panel. These guys, they were screaming so much that it got to a point where they had to bring in a microphone to blow like a horn to get these guys to get back on track a few times. I mean, that's how passionate the argument got between these guys, right? It was nothing personal, although at times they tried to get personal, but for the most part, they were talking basketball. And then they got to a point where Nick Young was basically saying that he believes Kobe's better than MJ. Then Rashad McCann jumped in. Then Brandon Jennings jumped in. And then Gilbert Arenas then lost his damn mind pushing back. And then what's his name? And then Kenyon Martin starts pushing back, right? He starts pushing back, and they get into this big back and forth, and this guy's making his point, that guy's making his point, he's going and saying that, he's going and saying that. And then it gets to a point where the argument gets interesting. And then Gilbert Arenas jumps out the window and says, Kobe Bryant wasn't even that athletic. And when he said that, we can't show you, maybe we may show you a still of Nick Young's face. We'll probably do that. The moment he said that, Nick Young lost it. He was like, you always saying stupid, you know what? And it looked for like a minute, because Nick Young be getting into them scraps. I looked at some of his highlights actually before. Some be getting down with the get down, right? It looked like he was about to be like, yo, son, like, what do you, for like a quick minute when Gilbert Arenas said that, and I was like, yo, what is going on today's show? But before we even get into this soundbite, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Gilbert Arenas said to Nick Young that really set him off. Like he almost blew his top. And then we're going to come back and react to their comments. Take a listen to these gentlemen here.
He knew he could. He knew he could play. The argument, but the argument is Kobe had to do moves because Kobe wasn't physically gifted enough to get by the person the first time. He wasn't physically gifted.
Whoa!
I can't believe you just said that.
Acting stupid.
He's not physically gifted enough to go by first move?
We just talked about the big
So what does he need a second or third move for?
How just a book?
So you can tell 1, 2, 3. When you got why do you need 2, 3 if you get the first way on my first move? If you're not playing defense, I'm trying to go by you in the way.
You got
a non-defender.
Score anyone with secondary moves.
No.
Stop, man.
He's talking about 2, 3 moves, and Jordan just had a 1, 2 pull-up. The reason the 1, 2 pull-up, they couldn't stop the 1, 2. What the accounted for if you can't stop this one.
Elo, of course.
Right.
Elo can't stop.
No,
What I'm saying is, if you cannot stop,
right.
boom, you can't stop that. What the I need to do this or I only do that
and we can go buy him the
I
next
didn't get
person
by
in
you.
there. This is what he's saying.
If you're
you
slow,
can buy one person, the next person in there
That
for a
step up.
secondary move.
Yes, secondary. Not a counter for that.
Five people is going
No, we're not talking about. We're talking about having counters.
No, we are talking about
counters.
We're talking about
counters. You need. Hold on. Look at him. No, stop. Hold on. How slow is Luka? How slow is Luka? Obviously, and Luka.
I'm talking about the. I said the.
What is the step?
It was because the.
Let's stay on Kobe. Let's stay on Kobe. Kobe had these extra moves. So when he played against Raja Bell, he had counters and did all this. I played against Raja Bell. He didn't make me do an extra move. Not one extra move.
Bro.
Not an extra move. I guarded Kobe. How many defensive players in here Kobe have? He didn't make me do one extra move.
You're playing the
one
point
crossover
guard. You're
shot.
playing the point
I don't
guard
need another move. I got you with the first one.
You're playing the point guard.
1-4 flat.
You playing the point guard.
I don't need to stop and do that. I'm faster.
So you heard what they had to say there, right? And then the argument just started going on, right? Because Gil was saying that, look, Kobe couldn't even, like, because at a certain point it was like, Kobe couldn't stop me or whatever it is. And then he was just saying, like, you know, like, you couldn't stop me, defense couldn't stop me. They were like, they weren't targeting you the way they were targeting Kobe and all of that stuff. And they got into this thing. He put up a wall against Gil and he'll pass, because they were saying Kobe was such an excellent player because, you know, he had counters to whatever the defense would throw at him, right? And he was getting some good defenders like Bruce Bowen, Raja Bell. And then Gilbert Arenas was like, I blew past those guys and this and this and this. And he was like, because nobody was paying attention to. So they got into that whole back and forth and all of that there. What do I think about Gilbert Arenas saying that Kobe wasn't athletic? First of all, I want to distill his comments down to this. I think he was saying Kobe wasn't athletic from the standpoint of he couldn't get by defenders with his athleticism. So therefore, he would need to, he would need to be stopped. So therefore, they would cut him off, and then he would have to go to a dribble, another move, a counter, and 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 all that stuff. So he was saying that Kobe wasn't really athletic enough to get by dudes. I watched Kobe Bryant play. You guys can go pull up Kobe's highlights because I'm not sure what Kobe he's talking about. If he's talking about Kobe at 33, 34, yes, he has a point. If he's talking about Kobe from 23 to 29, 30, 31, he has no point at all. None whatsoever. Is Kobe as fast as a point guard? No. Just like usually, shooting guards are faster than small forwards, and small forwards are faster than power forwards, and centers are the slowest players on the court, right? Because they're bigger players. They're bigger players. But the question is, could Kobe beat his man? Meaning 2s and 3s that was defending him. Again, there's countless footage of Kobe doing that. Kobe beat his man almost all the time. In the case that he couldn't beat elite defenders like the Bruce Bowens, the Raja Bells, the Tony Allens, who are quick-footed and all of that, they could stay with him. What would then happen was he would then be forced to go to a counter. But the question is, why was Kobe going to his counters? The reason Kobe went to his counters so much had everything to do with the constitution of his team versus his ability to beat defenders. Some of you are like, well, what are you talking about, the constitution of his team? Here's why. Gil talked about the fact, oh, well, LeBron could beat defenders. I can beat defenders. You guys were not playing with dominant bigs. Kobe wasn't playing with an open lane where he would spread out shooters and then the lane will be open and all he would have to do is beat one man. And if he gets by him and a secondary defender comes, he kicks or whatever it is. No. Kobe usually when he would beat his first defender, usually the other guy sitting in the paint is Pau Gasol. Hear the words I said, sitting in the paint, not sitting in the corner. So there's another guy there with his man on him, and there's the help defender. So Kobe in that case would now be forced to go to a secondary move. He's not setting a high screen and roll, a high pick and roll, and then going down, bringing up the big, getting around him, and then running. That's not how Kobe played. That's not how Kobe played. Sometimes he would go to that move occasionally, but that's not what he would do. Secondly, we got to look at Kobe's playing style. Kobe primarily played in the mid-range, the high post, mid post, and the low post. Right? So, apart from a spin move, which he would do, Kobe's usually playing with his back to the basket. So how is this getting by your man action going to be playing? Jordan never played with a dominant big that he had to throw the ball down to, like a Shaq or like a Powell, who wasn't really dominant, but he was a very skilled big man. But to say that Kobe couldn't get by defenders is laughable. There's literally footage of him doing it. But saying that I could get by defenders, a fast point guard, and saying I didn't need a secondary move, and then saying that Kobe was slow because he couldn't do it, is unfair. Because point guards are the fastest players on the court. So they're going to get by defenders the fastest. The fastest. But you can't compare a point guard speed versus a shooting guard speed. You can't do it. You can't do it. And that's the reason they got into that melee, that argument or whatever it was. Because they're saying that Kobe wasn't that athletic, and that's crazy. Because if you watch Kobe highlights, he was putting cats in the basket. Michael Jordan was an elite athlete. LeBron James was an elite athlete. I have never seen them dudes pull off a reverse dunk coming from the opposite side of the rim. I've never seen them do that. Kobe was dunking on 7-foot dudes like Yao Ming. Kobe damn near jumped over Dwight Howard. Over Dwight Howard. To say he wasn't athletic is crazy. But in that particular point, I think Gil was talking about beating his defender. But if you watch Kobe, whenever he would go to his second move, it was either help was coming or the defender was good enough to cut off his initial attack. Which means that he was playing against some great defenders. Right? Some very, 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 very versatile defenders. And therefore, he had those counters. So that's my interpretation of it. Some of you guys may hear that and think something totally different. So the question to the audience is this. Number one, do you agree with Gilbert Arenas saying that Kobe Bryant wasn't athletic? If you do agree, let us know why. If you disagree with Gil, please let us know why you disagree with Gil. And ultimately, do you think Kobe was an athletic basketball player? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.